Hi everyone, today we're going to be talking about the Phonics with Flair Phonics inventory and how to administer this assessment to your kiddos. So in kindergarten, this assessment is given as an extension piece. In first grade, this assessment is given each 9 weeks, and this is actually going to be done through ESGI. And in second grade, this is also done each 9 weeks, but it's only for students who are below grade level or who are struggling with phonics. We also administer this to 3rd through 5th on an as-needed basis to those kids who have some phonics gaps. It just allows us to pinpoint exactly what the kiddos are struggling with so that we can create an action plan to support them. So before we get started, if you're going to do our phonics inventory, you'll need your Phonics with Flair inventory notebook. We're going to go through the contents of this notebook, but you'll definitely want this because it has printed out the student copies of all the assessments so that the kiddos don't have to read from teeny tiny print, that they can actually just point to the words that are on the page and read from there. So definitely a good thing to have handy. We're going to go through all the content, and we're also going to go through the different levels and the different skills and talk about how to give those assessments. So first things first, our cover page. This is the different grade bands and the skills they should master by the end of each grade band. At the bottom, it also has our color key. So you're going to print off one of the teacher copy for each student, and then you're going to use that for the entire year. So each 9 weeks, you'll use a different color to help to score it. So the first 9 weeks is black, second 9 weeks is red, third 9 weeks is green, and fourth 9 weeks is blue. You can print this sheet off if you'd like. You can put the student names here and then write the date or scores for the assessment, dates of when they passed, what they scored on the assessment, however you want to use that to organize your Phonics with Flair inventory. So this is the teacher copy. We're going to go through this a little bit more in depth and talk about how to score, but this is what you're going to print off for each kiddo so that they each have their own copy that you're going to score each 9 weeks. In the binder, there's also, like I said, the student version so that way they can just point to each word or letter as they are saying it so they don't have to read from the teeny tiny print. So we're going to go through each part of the inventory and talk about how to score it, what the words should sound like, and then the different rules. So the first one is letter names. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail here about how to score it and like what it should look like when you're scoring it so that everybody's on the same page. So for instance, if they were recognizing letter names for this one, in order for them to pass this section, they have to get all of the parts correct. And so let's say it's the first 9 weeks and I'm giving this assessment to a student. They would read it. Let's say that they missed the letter P. You would circle it with your black pen. Okay, and then keep going. So you would circle any of the ones that they have missed on the first time. And then when you give that assessment the second 9 weeks, you would take your red pen and then just score them on the ones that they missed. So the ones that you have circled. And if they get it correct, just put a check. If they don't, just put a little dot above it so we know that we've tested it, but they just didn't pass it. So in order for them, like I said, to pass each level, they have to get all of them correct. You don't have to retest them on each individual letter every time or word. It's just the ones that they miss. And let's say, for instance, they have passed this one. I like to put a check out beside it in a circle so that just keeps me on track with the ones that they have passed because you won't have to test them on those again. So for letter names, that's pretty self-explanatory. They would just point to the letter and read it. There's uppercase and lowercase. Level 2 is the consonant sounds. So again, for this one, it's not the letters, but the sounds that the consonants make. So like for the M, they would say, You want to make sure that on a lot of these that they're not adding the U sound on the end. So like if they say M, that's adding the U on there. So that means they don't quite understand that sound all the way. So, and that can create misconceptions later on. So let's say that they're reading, then they go, and then for here they say, F. So you would circle that one because they don't quite understand the sound of the F, which is so just kind of be aware of those things when you're giving the assessment so that it doesn't create misconceptions later. So this one does actually have the consonant sounds for Q and U. When Q and U go together, it makes the qu sound. So that's just to make sure that they understand that. So short vowels, the pattern is if it's consonant, vowel, consonant, and so then the vowel, if the word has a consonant, vowel, consonant pattern, the vowel in the middle will be short and make the short sound. So this is how those words should sound when they are reading them. Fizz, good, hin, sut, jab, bam, nib, pud, nell, sant. So all of those vowels in the middle are making the short vowel sound, like I, ah, eh. Okay, let's move on down to the consonant blends. So this is another one where you're going to want to make sure that they're not adding the sound on the end of these blends. So they should sound like grr, sul, cur, pull, st, bull, full, tur, cl, dur, gull, sp, fur, skr, stir. Okay. So for instance, if they're reading these and like they get here and they say pluh instead of pull, circle that one because they don't quite understand the sound that those two make together. And just that's a time where if that happens after you have given that part of the assessment, you can go back and say, oh, okay, look at this one. Does it have the sound on for the U on the end of it? And just kind of help to clear up those misconceptions as you're going. The next level is the consonant digraph. So this is another section you're going to want to make sure that they don't add the onto the end. So it should sound like this when the kids are reading it. Sh, ch, so make sure that they are saying those correctly. And if it is, again, something that, easily for you to correct right there, just do a little teaching component afterwards. Okay, the next section is the final E. So the rule is when it's a consonant, vowel, consonant with a final E, the vowel is going to be long. So the vowel is going to say its name. So that should sound like fade, cube, cone, file, lane, tune, joke, wife. Again, if they get it wrong, just circle it. If you've already done the assessment and they get it wrong again, just put a little dot. If they get it right, put a check in whatever color for the 9 weeks that you're working on. The next section is the vowel teams. And so the rule for this is when two vowels are together, the first one is going to be long, and then the second one is going to be silent. So when two vowels go walking, the first one does the talking. That's one of the rhymes that they might know. So the word should sound like this: Beal, Vi, Shoal, Seep, Rabe, Tay, Deast, Zare, Treep, Lote. The next section is the R-controlled vowels. So they should sound like this: Fleur, Warb, Bark, Mur, Burk, Dur, Jor, Slar, Nur, Pert. The next section is the diphthongs. So these are just patterns that they will need to learn. So for instance, like in this word, the AU is making the aw sound. So trawl. The OI is making the oi sound. Foich. The OW is making the ow sound. Cowl. The OY is making the oi sound. Sloy. The OU is making the ow sound. Route. All, voon, drew, rook, gloud. So here with these, they can say the double O's either way. They're probably going to naturally say oon, like ooth, or rook, like book. So making the oo sound or the sound there. They might also say the OW as the O sound, like bow, but normally that's at the end of the word. Okay, the next section is the silent letters. So they should sound like this: knit, right, wrong, comb, lamb, might, gnaw, sleigh, high, half. These can be kind of tricky because a lot of times the kids just those are ones that the kids will just have to know. Okay, with these multisyllabic words, they need to be able to chunk the word. So this one would be bombardment, combination, refreshment, establishment, revolver, entertain, calculate, cucumber. Okay, these are words that they should be able to chunk into syllables and read that way. So that's the end of the teacher version, and the one that you will mark on. So if you have any questions about the different levels or the different rules or anything, just please let me know. Again, the way that we're going to mark these, if they get it wrong, circle it. When you test them again, if they still get it wrong, put a dot above it. And then if they get it right, put a check, and make sure to use the different colors so we can easily see it. Thank you guys for all of your hard work with your kiddos. And if you have any questions, let me know. Bye, guys.